Hi there. We wanted to give you an overview of the curricular area team presentation. So by now you should know which groups you're in and which option, either option 1 or option 2, you are going to participate in. And this week we'll begin the drafting phase for your team presentation. So the purpose of our curricular area team presentation is to enable students to engage in collaboration surrounding an investigation of issues that are related to standards-aligned curriculum development. In this process, we want you to be digging into and analyzing empirical database studies and related literature that is published on the specific area of interest that you and your team have selected. This aligns with our course objectives, numbers 1 and 2. So during the team presentation drafting phase, you will be working in a team of 4 students, and you'll work together to address the trends and issues that are in curriculum development for students with disabilities. Your team is going to develop a 30-minute presentation, which will include a handout, a PowerPoint, or some kind of Google slide presentation, along with a set of references that you will use so that others can further study this topic if they're interested. So the teams are going to deliver the presentation during our next face-to-face class session, which is on June 23rd. There is a rubric that you can find on our ReggieNet site, and the team presentation is worth a total of 42 points. Although you're presenting this in class on June 23rd, you will need to upload all materials and any revisions that you've made by Monday, June 25th at 11:55 p.m. for all of the groups presenting. So step 1 of the drafting phase. You are going to select a focus with your group that defines the characteristics of students that, if you selected option 1, are participating in general education curriculum with modifications and accommodations. You might have examples of learners with learning disabilities, attention deficit hyperactivity disorder, generalized anxiety disorder, oppositional defiant, autism spectrum, intellectual disability, visual impairment, or deaf and hard of hearing. You want to make sure that all 4 team members agree on this one area of focus, because that is what your whole presentation will relate to in the one set of characteristics surrounded around that disability. If you selected option 2, then you are going to be selecting an area that focuses on characteristics of students that are participating in an alternative curriculum. So those are going to be those standards that align with the essential elements, those learners that are participating in the dynamic learning maps. So you may have learners that are on the autism spectrum, have an intellectual disability, traumatic brain injury, also could have deaf blindness. Again, make sure that all team members agree on your one area of focus. Step 2, you are going to make a plan on how you're going to search for scholarly peer-reviewed journal articles that you can use to address all 3 questions in your presentation. Your team should have a conversation and figure out how you're going to translate questions A, B, and C for option 1, or I, J, and K for option 2 into a focused statement that can be researched about the specific group characteristics that you've selected. The whole team should collaborate together and generate a list of search terms to use to find through Milner's database or Google Scholar. One way for you to evidence this is by uploading all of your materials to the Google folder that there's a link to on ReggieNet. Each team member is responsible for finding at least one database source from a scholarly peer-reviewed journal and one additional source of published information that could come from a practitioner-friendly article or book. Step 3, you're going to determine which one of these areas questions in your presentation. Option 1, you're going to consider options D through H, and option 2 are going to consider questions L through O. There are 5 questions, however, you only have to address one of those in your presentation. We encourage you to divide and conquer so that each team member develops 1 to 2 slides to answer the selected question without providing the same information that another team member is presenting. Collaborate with one another so you don't duplicate. Step 4, you're going to conduct a literature search and you're going to organize your findings. This is our drafting week, so if you look at the syllabus, you'll see that each team member is expected to import your references into that shared Google Doc. This allows you to see all of the resources that your team members are selecting, and you're not all choosing the same articles. Finally, step 5, you're going to read the information from the selected sources that each team member contributes, and then you are going to begin the development of your team presentation next week, and then revising your presentation. So you'll have this week to draft, and then the following week you will really start developing and making those final touches before you present in our face-to-face session on June 23rd. As always, let Jamie and I know if you have any questions. We are always happy to do a Google Hangout or to chat with you by phone. Whatever works best for you, we're happy to collaborate. Take care, and we'll see you soon.